This Sandbar Park food, drink, entertainment issue, I would say tonight is chapter 26 in a book that'll probably end up being 30 chapters. The first 25 chapters of that book from town board meetings and workshops span the last 6 years, and it's quite a saga. The most recent chapter of that book was on September 18th when Chris Milo, our Parks and Rec Commissioner, was in here and presented a possibility to put food and drink and entertainment at Sandbar Park as soon as next summer through storage containers that have kind of become the rage. At that time, during the workshop presentation, the board had some lively Q&A, and Councilman Cahill said, look, I need to know how much this is going to cost to engineer and design, because there was estimates of $10,000 to $15,000. So we left that board meeting, and I met with Paul Adams, our finance director. I met with Chris Bilo, and when we looked at going and getting one of these container manufacturers to do that, so we could come back to the board tonight and do a $10,000 to $15,000 engineering, Paul pointed out, well, that's against our procurement policy. We would be siding with one manufacturer. So we said, well, really, why don't we do this? Why don't we just go and, without spending money, we go out and put out a solicitation of bids today and see what comes in from these container places. Now, we try to post in the Webster Herald 8 days before these meetings. So we sent to the Webster Herald on Tuesday, September 23rd, the resolution you see. And it got into the September 24th Wednesday edition. Now in the subsequent meetings, from between then and right up till yesterday, or I'm sorry, Tuesday, all of a sudden we're like, well, we get Keith Mortimer, our town engineer. He's like, well, what's the bid package? Is it one bid package to the manufacturer because they're also going to install and hook up to utilities, or do we do two bid packages where one is to obtain the containers and another one to an electrician or a plumber or whatever to hook it up? Not really sure. Then Keith, our engineer, said, well, what kind of things do you want in the innards of this drink one and this food one? And Chris and I said, well, you know what we should do? We should go back to the 10 to 12 restaurateurs who showed interest in running a restaurant down there the last 4 years, and we'll ask them, hey, if you were ever going to run food and drink out of these containers, what would you need, like as far as a cooler size, a commercial, whatever? And as we're having those meetings, we're like, oh my God, we are way too premature to do this resolution tonight. So last Tuesday night, we went on to our digital agendas, which is on the town website and social media platforms, and we put the big yellow table on it. So if I just gave you TMI, I apologize, but that is the reason why we are tabling this, because we need to get some more information so we can come back on the 16th or November 6th with a more thought out, global, if you want to call it, resolution to solicit bids that also has innards of these things in the bid that are what the usual suspects who would run the restaurant and bar in these things would want. Does the board have any questions or comments before I make a motion to table this?
Do not. I would suggest that we would just, table it permanently into the next supervisor or and the board come in and decide what to do with this, because I have been called and emailed that people, they happy the way Sandbar Park the way it is, and they want us to leave it alone. We cannot replicate the Bayside. I know everybody say we want a restaurant down there, but that's not true. If you speak with the majority of people, they don't want it, a restaurant down there. And for us to spending money, for studying and everything, even though it's only $10,000, $20,000, to me, is still taxpayer money, and we should just hold off permanently until the next administration and next supervisor decide what to do with it. That's how I feel.
Actually, Jamie articulated a lot of that at the September 18th workshop. The one thing I would say is that the $20,000 that I don't think we're spending any money. We're trying to strategize this where we would put it out to bid. There is no money spent by that. We would get the bids back to see what is this going to cost to buy these and to install them. So we're not spending any $20,000 or engineering and design. I think something got lost there maybe between September 18th and this one. Jenny, I'm not disagreeing with you, but I would say this. Right now, the motion that I'm making is to table this. Not to table this or put it off indefinitely, but to table it for the reasons that I've already articulated to everybody here in the room. So, any other questions or comments?
No, I've received comments on this as well. I've received calls on this topic. And it's interesting, Jenny, we're getting different feedback because I'm getting feedback that there is a desire for a restaurant down there. There may not be a desire for container trendy restaurant down there, but there is a desire for a restaurant down there. Somewhere, somehow, we have to see and find out if there's a way to have a happy medium. I know there's challenges with a brick and mortar building due to cost, so there's more to this. There's more to Sandbar Park, and there's more to this situation, fine tabling it. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if the answer is do nothing. I don't know if the answer is a container, or I don't know if the answer is a brick and mortar building. But I guess we'll see as we move this forward. And Tom, to your point, getting a bid is not a bad thing, because that at least we would have an understanding of what it would cost. The presumption is it might have been $350,000, it might be whatever. It can come back to be $1 million, and nobody's going to want to spend $1 million on a container, but you can't make that decision without having the information. So the first step is getting the information. I presume engaging with the public, even if it's not formally, informally, and then we'll decide how to move forward as a board, whether it's this configuration or the next configuration.
Jennifer, I completely agree with you that I do think we should continue to explore it without making any decisions. Certainly if we're not expending any money to do that, I don't know why we wouldn't. But the one thing I would disagree with you on is I think we've gone down the road already of a brick and mortar building. And I think what we found with that was that with DEC regulations, trying to build something down there became just cost prohibitive because of pilings and everything else that needed to be done. It's a very sensitive area when it comes to building because there's not much land there. And I think that certainly the reason this was brought forth with containers is that it could possibly create a venue, a way to serve food without that brick and mortar and without that tremendous expense that would be borne either by the town or whoever their partner would be. And we saw that, we tried that, we went down that road and we just couldn't make it happen. So this might be the answer, I don't know. And it's interesting when we talk about different people talking to, you know, some members of the public will call one of us or someone else. I don't think we can say the majority of people don't want it because there are 45,000 people in this town, and I don't know if 23,000 have contacted you, but some have contacted Jennifer. I've heard from a couple. The motion on the table right now is, the motion to us right now is to table this, and I would second that.
Okay, and like I said earlier, it's a 6-year interesting story, 26 chapters of a 30-chapter book happened before this. I'm going to spare you the Cliff's Notes, that aged me, of the first 26 chapters over the last 6 years. But for tonight, I'm going to make a motion to table the solicitation of bids for storage containers at Sandbar Park for food, drink, entertainment until a future board meeting.
And I have seconded that.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wright.
Aye.